introducing and thanking all four of our panelists for joining. We have first with us from Gujranwala, Ms. Saria Khan, who's the Assistant Commissioner in Gujranwala. And then we have from Rawalpindi, Mr. Tariq Murtaza joining us, who's Chairman, Rawalpindi Development Authority. From Islamabad, we have Naveed Iftikhar joining us, who is the founder of Learners Republic and is also adjunct faculty at Law University of Maritime Sciences. And from Karachi, we have Mr. Farhan Anwar joining us, who is an urban and regional planner and is also adjunct faculty at Habib University. Thank you everybody for joining us for what is a very broadly titled topic today. And I'm hoping that we will be able to touch on what are the main kind of areas of concern. But I know that our 1 hour or 1.5 hours is too little for us to give complete answers or complete ideas on this entire topic. So before we start, I would just like to give a bit of a topic overview, and उसके बाद मैं थोड़ा सा अपना format discuss करूँगी इस webinar का, and then I'll open it to the first round and to our panelists. So basically, this webinar is hosted by Urban Innovation, and it's titled as Cities and COVID-19. Now, with recent news, with the ongoing pandemic and news coming out from Beijing that the COVID-19 cases have reappeared, and local media जो है पाकिस्तान में वो भी एक sharp increase in positive cases report कर रही है, और हमारा death toll आज के मुताबिक 3000 पे पहुंच गया है on the national portal at least. So ये जो crisis we thought हमने थोड़ा सा इसको एक slump आएगी first phase में, वो पाकिस्तान में नहीं आई है. And once again, city authorities जो हैं वो center पे आ गए of this pandemic management में and coordination की तरफ से. So आज की discussion जो है वो we are going to try कि हम एक valuable insight थोड़ी सी gain कर सकें from city officials and planning and policy practitioners, and they can share with us what is being done, what is not being done, and what can be done to limit the spread of this virus vis-a-vis the life in cities. Now, the economic and social impacts of this pandemic, they're being felt in all households of the country. जो economic losses हैं and challenges हैं, they're creating social issues, and effective policies are needed. So livelihoods and lives, as we have noticed, they're being affected. And from an urban management perspective, हम कह सकते हैं that this is a first time or a unique challenge है for city officials who are facing this in an increasingly more urbanized Pakistan. And from a city planning point of view, cases are rising both in low density areas and also in high density areas. जो कि originally हमें पता चल रहा था कि सिर्फ ये जहाँ जगह ज़्यादा crowded हैं वहाँ ये cases ज़्यादा आएंगे. Public transport जो है उस पर भी obviously क्योंकि proximity की वजह से ज़्यादा risks हैं, and already limited mobility is a huge concern for citizens. And the most vulnerable citizens remain those that are living in our low income areas and that need to use busy, crowded market spaces, and who need to come out for air and travel distances to find work every day. So with rising अभी हमारा जो weather change हो रहा है, गर्मी आ गई है, load shedding की वजह से, we have more issues and more difficulties facing our cities. So for this, we have a broad range of concerns when it comes to city life in a pandemic. So what we've done today, what I've tried is to divide this talk into 4 rounds, and round 1 is going to be discussing city coordination, management, and governance. Round 2 will discuss the economic impact and policy considerations, especially for low income and vulnerable urban populations. And round 3 will discuss the impact of COVID-19 on city planning and design. What are the challenges and opportunities? And we will try to touch on the quality of life in our cities in the wake of this pandemic. And round 4 may lastly, we'll hope that we can address some of the questions and comments coming up from our audience members. And then also just do a general comments ke saath wrap up. So with that said, I'd like to officially start by round 1 and discuss some of our specific challenges and problem areas arising in terms of city management. with that, मैंने अपनी पहले जो first line of questioning थी मेरी वो थी towards Miss Saria from Gujranwala. If you could, from your perspective, give the audience Saria थोड़ा सा एक context of Gujranwala city in terms of its population size and आपका current number of confirmed जो COVID cases हैं वो क्या हैं जी?
Hello, good evening. Thanks for giving me opportunity to speak about COVID-19 situation in Gujranwala. Actually, Gujranwala is considered the 5th largest city of Pakistan with population size of almost 50 lakh. The major chunk of population is in Tehsil city, which is highly dense, and the most cases of COVID-19 reported in a highly dense area in Tehsil city.
Okay.
In the first case reported in Pakistan, it was on 26th February, but in Gujranwala on 23rd March, 4 cases of COVID-19 were reported in same day.
Okay.
Actually, we were already planning to control and to combat with this pandemic. So we had well arrangements. We had very good control, and we tried our level best to give the good facilities, the good health facilities and awareness to our public. Currently, we have 2,380 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Gujranwala. And if we see that Gujranwala is the 5th largest city of Pakistan, and in number of confirmed COVID cases, we are at number 9.
Okay.
In comparison of population,
Is point to sorry, I will just say, is Gujranwala following the Punjab SOPs, or have you, as local authorities, had to develop city-specific guidelines for the citizens?
We are following all the SOPs which are conveyed by government time to time. But yes, what different we did, we were very much stick to the SOPs. We did not spare our population. We did not spare our public. You can say that we went one step ahead.
Okay.
District administration did very hard. The comparison which I try to give, that if we see the population and the number of patient comparison, Lahore is the largest city, and Lahore is at number 1 in confirmed COVID cases. If we see, Gujranwala remained at number 2, but since last 2 weeks, Gujranwala is at number 9. The confirmed COVID patients number is comparatively start decreasing in Gujranwala. Now we are standing at number 9 all over Pakistan, and we are behind Multan, Rawalpindi, and Faisalabad.
Okay. And Ms. Arya, can you comment on what are the main challenges that your city is facing with regard to the virus?
Frankly speaking, the major challenge we are being faced, it is the public behavior. We are still facing death of confirmed COVID patients every day. Even the health professionals are dying now. The most famous children's specialist of Gujranwala died today due to COVID. The very famous gynecologist, aged 59 years old, she died yesterday. But still, there is a chunk of society which considered that COVID is actually, it's a joke. There is no COVID, there is no pandemic, and people keep masks, sanitizer in their pockets despite using them.
Okay. So I can summarize this, if I'm understanding this properly, is that the cases in Gujranwala are rising, and there is definitely a grave concern from the official side. However, आपका main challenge आपको public की side से आ रहा है, that there is no enforcement of prevention from the public.
Yes.
Okay. And now I would like to just open this to Mr. Tariq Murtaza from Rawalpindi as well. Tariq Sahab, if you could kind of also run us through the same background on your city in Rawalpindi, the context, what is the population size, what is your confirmed number of cases, and your main challenge, if you could share it.
जी thank you for inviting me on this panel. इसमें basically जी Rawalpindi is a city of about 2.2 million population, and approximately I would say about 5,000 cases we have confirmed in Rawalpindi COVID-19, and some of the challenges we are facing is basically educating people and making them adhere to the SOPs, which is a tough call at the moment, but still I feel that people are in a learning mode, and because now they are really scared of COVID-19 and they know it's a reality. In the first instance, they were thinking that it's somebody just a hearsay and there's nobody, just people, government is just doing a propaganda thing. So, but now they are more aware and educated and they follow the SOPs. We basically, as you were earlier talking to Sarah, we were basically following the government of Punjab SOPs, and we follow it to the last dot. So usme khair the challenges, as you know, these cities have massive challenges, and because the urban population, the income group is also very low income groups, and it's difficult to sort of make them follow the SOPs. Then the other thing that comes in their way of the low income groups in the urban population is that so affordability of masks, affordability of hand sanitizers. So we were able to help out that way, that we have VASA at our disposal, and we were able to make these walk-through gates at the main hospitals. We have 3 main government hospitals. Then we have our own office. We were able to make these sanitization gates. Then we were able to place different trucks, make hand washing places at different spots where there was more public activity. So these were basically some of the things we were doing in the Rawalpindi area. And so I would say now we are in a sort of a second stage, which is more precise and targeted, sort of, as you must be hearing, the lockdowns, smart lockdowns, and smart management and all that. So that's basically what we are doing in Rawalpindi.
In terms of, Tariq Sahab, in terms of an effective tool, in terms of enforcement and awareness, can you comment on a lesson or something that Rawalpindi is experiencing? What has been an effective tool to get the citizens to react? ये जो आपने हमें बताएं that you were able to set up drive-through kind of checkpoints, have they been effective, or do you still need more?
इसमें basically जी, can you hear me?
जी, I can hear you.
इसमें basically educating the masses and telling them that this is a reality and you have to sort of follow these SOPs if you want to remain alive and keep the virus away from you. So as I said in the beginning, they were little apprehensive and not listening to the authorities. So then we switched into the second mode of being a sort of a more of a friendly and an educative sort of a thing. Like we had our volunteers and some of our staff work on the general public passing through the main areas and educating them that you should follow these SOPs, like wash your hands, and you should be okay with that. So in the second phase, the public was also more cooperative. They were more receptive to our talk and more receptive to the SOPs. So that's
Okay.
what basically.
Okay. So and सारिया भाई, मैं आपके पास वापस आऊंगी कि आप मुझे अपना एक प्रायोरिटी एरिया अगर एक आइडेंटिफाई कर सकें कि गुजरांवाला में राइट नाउ इन टर्म्स ऑफ prevention and containment of the spread, आपका प्रायोरिटी एरिया भी अवेयरनेस ही निकल रहा है public behavior के बारे में?
Yes, no doubt. Actually, if we see the earlier lockdown, which was imposed by government, at that time we had very less number of cases. I think it was the same scenario in all over Pakistan. When the lockdown was eased, the number of cases immediately jumped. Now we have again we have gone to the smart lockdown, and we are being very strict to the SOPs, and again our number of cases is decreasing now. So if the public would be aware, if public would stay at home, they would not go out unnecessarily. Ultimately, all these things are covered by public behavior, public their knowledge of this towards pandemic. If public behave sensibly, definitely we can say that it will decrease the number of cases.
Okay. ये public behavior के बारे में, in fact, अभी just yesterday there was a remark made online by one of our politicians, and वो थोड़ा सा उस पे negatively criticism receive हो रहा है, that saying that it is entirely on the behavior of the public is not also fair. लेकिन from again, because हमारे पास अभी panel पे दो city officials बैठे हुए हैं, आप लोग where do you think that we can what kind of enforcement tools are lacking? देखें जैसे awareness तो आप लोग raise कर रहे हैं, but people still need to come out for basic goods, जो कि हम थोड़ा सा round 2 में भी अभी cover करेंगे. तो आप लोगों ने जब तक, जहाँ तक आपके मार्केट्स हैं, आपकी बिजी मार्केट स्पेसेस बोथ इन रावलपिंडी एंड इन गुजरांवाला, जहाँ लोगों ने एब्सोल्यूट नेसेसिटी की वजह से निकलना है और एक्सेस टू बेसिक सर्विसेज के लिए उन्हें निकलना है, तो वहाँ आप लोग कंटेनमेंट स्ट्रैटेजीज क्या रख रहे हैं, किस किस्म के आपने प्रिवेंशन गाइडलाइंस वहाँ दी हुई हैं? सारी अगर आप पहले ही आंसर कर दें.
Firstly, I would like to give you an example about public behavior. If you remember, the transporters, they were going to every extent to take the government consent to run on their buses. They were willing, they were agree to all the conditions and those are provided by the government to, they promised to follow all the SOPs. If we see at the bus bays, bus stations, all the buses which go out from the bus bays, they follow SOPs, but if you look at the roads, they are again full of passengers. Passengers are on every seat, even the passengers are standing in the buses. Technically, it is not possible for government to stand one of their representative in bus to check the SOPs at every stage. So I think what one of the sitting cabinet member of the government talked about public behavior, that was not so much wrong.
Okay. Okay. तारिक साहब, आपकी तरफ से in terms of रावलपिंडी की busy market areas में आप लोग किस तरह spread को contain कर रहे हैं?
एक तो जी basically हम we work in very close sync with the district administration because on ground district administration and then हमारी जो territory है वहाँ पे भी we manage things to the district administration. तो हमारा basically Raja Bazaar is the most hub of business and very crowded area. तो नवीद साहब के साथ हम वही बेसिकली अर्बन प्लानिंग कुछ कर रहे हैं हम राजा बाजार की. तो वहाँ पे वी आर ट्राइंग टू डिवाइस अ ट्रैफिक प्लान. हम कर रहे हैं कि ट्रैफिक की मैनेजमेंट करें वहाँ पे और लोग चल सकें और ज़्यादा करीब ना चल सकें. दे रिमेन मेंटेन अ सेफ डिस्टेंस. सो बेसिकली द बॉटम लाइन इज कि enforcement is one sector and enforcement is one area. Government can sort of close down shops. Government can, but the main thing that needs to be addressed and which we are struggling with is educating people and making them feel that this is something serious. You have to follow the SOPs. If you don't follow the SOPs, you will kill your whole family. I mean, we give them this fear factor also. Through our staff, through our district administration and people who are on ground. So then again, as I was saying, the bottom line is that we try and educate them and tell them then again, but as I said earlier, we try and provide them with masks, distribute masks, hand sanitizers, hand washing at every corner or wherever the busy street is. But then the public has to respond. So now I've started to see the public response that they are getting more responsible. Like, for example, we have a huge office area, office space, because Vasa is housed there, RDA is housed there. So a lot of public comes in. So we have set up these hand washing sanitizer gates, and we tell the public that instead of 10 people coming in, you can send 2 people and 1 person in for your getting your bills corrected, getting your complaints redressed at Vasa. So as I keep on repeating that it's basically the public awareness we have to address, educate the public and make them follow the SOPs. By force, I don't think you can do it for a long. It's not a sustainable thing. And you have to sort of, public has to cooperate.
Right. I think that is the nature of the situation that we're dealing with. Ji, lastly, my last question for round one to both Ms. Saria and to Tariq Saab is that can you comment, starting with Gujranwala, on the quality of departmental coordination that you have experienced in your city? Because naturally इस किस्म की crisis में आपके departments को एक दूसरे के साथ coordinated रखना और एक अच्छी collaborative response होए, उसमें भी उसका बहुत ज़्यादा role है. So, Ms. Arya, do you think Gujranwala is learning lessons to maybe improve this, or have you been happy with the way that the departments have worked together thus far?
In every difficult situation, it is very important that all the stakeholders, all the involved department should have a good coordination, because a good outcome can only be seen by good coordination. Unfortunately, at any place, the ideal situation cannot be there. Similar was here. By 1 or 2 departments, we had a little bit coordination gaps. Why we had that? All the departments which were answerable to Deputy Commissioner, the coordination level from them was very good, was very high. They were available 24/7. They had no lame excuses. But the department which were not answerable to Deputy Commissioner, which were not under his direct control, we saw coordination loopholes from them.
Okay. Okay.
So,
and,
but I think what I think or what I learned in such situation, in pandemics, what I want to say, we don't witness pandemic after every 10 or 15 years. This is what I want to say. It is a time which we can see maybe once in centuries. After 1918, now in 2020, we witness pandemic. But we should be very clear that in situation like pandemic, all the decision-making points, all the departments, those should be handed over to that person who is actually standing there, who is witnessing everything. To be more specific, Lahore is not witnessed what is going on in Gujranwala or what is going on in Faisalabad. So they should give some authority to concerned Deputy Commissioner to decide either there should be strict lockdown, either the lockdown should be finished or not. Unfortunately, should there be lockdown? The decision was from center. Lockdown should be finished. The decision was from center. We should go for smart lockdown. The decision was from center. I think this decision should be given to the person who is exactly standing there, like the head of the district.
Okay. Okay. Tariq Saab, if you can comment on departmental coordination and your experiences in Rawalpindi so far with regards to the pandemic.
Basically, as I told you earlier, we had a very good, decent coordination with our district administration. And on the onset of the lockdown, we divided our territories in Rawalpindi city, that how are we going to manage those territories and what are we going to do about it. So firstly, then we divided amongst ourselves the spraying and disinfected spray all over the city. So district administration did one part, we did our part, then the cantonment board did did their part. So basically, we had a very good synchronized move, and we are still doing that. As I said, we have entered phase 2. So we are again doing it, because I would say if we had no bad coordination or no coordination, we would have faced massive problems, and in what we are doing in the city, like educating the public, and at some time enforcing the government SOPs by like on the motorbikes and riding of public transport, and then private vehicles also. So basically, we were in great sync with the district administration, which is the commissioner and the deputy commissioner. So, and then the station commander of the cantonment areas. And I think it was a success story, and we still, I think then I would say that this COVID-19 is not going to go away tomorrow. So we need to have these SOPs and these things on a permanent basis. And we need to work in the cities to sort of follow these SOPs for a long time.
Yes. Shaileji, that I think rounds up our first round in terms of management and governance of cities. I'd like to, in the interest of time, move quickly to round 2, which is on economic impact and the policy considerations for our vulnerable urban population. So, Ispeji, over the last 3 months, residents of the cities have heard terms like soft lockdown, strict lockdown, and now more recently a smart lockdown. But does Pakistan have the kind of economic reserves seen in developed nations? And does the slowing down of the economy, is this actually causing more of a welfare crisis? And we can see that this is being felt acutely in our city. So I would invite Naveed, Naveed Iftikhar, to weigh in on this, on the economic issue. Naveed, my first question to you is that what have been, in your opinion, the main challenges faced by city residents, and what kind of policies or practices would be helpful for cities to implement in terms of economic relief?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. This is important. और अभी भी आपने देखा होगा जब भी लॉकडाउन की डिस्कशन होती थी, so economic consideration was one of the main points. But I would say that economic consideration के साथ साथ इस वक्त जो है वो इंसानी जानें बचाना जो है, that is very important. And obviously, when we talk about saving lives, then economic activity is also important. So the challenge is huge. ना सिर्फ मैं तो लोग इसको differentiate करते हैं between developing and developed countries. So this challenge is universal, even for US, for Denmark, for every country. So economic जो hit है वो developed countries में -6, -7% तक भी economic growth जो है वो रह रही है कुछ countries में. And हमारे यहाँ जो पाकिस्तान में वो अभी जो planning commission estimates release किए हैं उसमें earlier we were expecting somewhere between 2 to 3% जो अभी growth जो है वो -0.4% आ गई है. So that is just one way to look at it. हमारी जो है services और industry जो है वो दोनों के अंदर जो है वो growth rate negative है. Agriculture obviously least hit थी इस pandemic से, तो वहाँ से positive growth थोड़ी generate हुई है. Otherwise this is negative both in services and industry में भी जो है. So what I want to share with you कि ये economic activity का challenge जो है that is universal. It's not unique to developing or a poor country. One. Second जो है वो there is a जो अभी आपने बात की है कि आगे जाके क्या करना चाहिए. Generally क्या होता है? Generally when we talk about growth या government ने economic activity accelerate करनी हो तो we try to give fiscal incentives. So the challenge right now is that the government is constrained in terms of revenues as well. कि हमारे revenues भी कम हो गए हैं. We were expecting near government तो 5 trillion कह रही थी, but somewhere between around 4.5 trillion आने थे जो less than 4 trillion अब रह गए हैं. तो these sort of constraints are there. So now we need to see innovatively कि हमने economic activity को भी support करना है जिससे growth भी आए, jobs भी create हों. लेकिन इसके साथ साथ we can't dole out money to businesses right now. So we started doling out money to big corporations. So that's still a questionable thing. Some of us said that they should retain employees and then they can get loans, but I doubt that strategy can work. So मेरे ख्याल में जो non fiscal measures हैं वो बड़ी important है. तो non fiscal measures पे काम करना चाहिए. Some of those non-fiscal measures that I've been advocating, जैसे मैं कह रहा हूँ कि जो सिटी गवर्नमेंट्स होती हैं उनके पास सबसे बड़ा टूल जो है वो लैंड यूज होता है. How do you reconfigure the land use in your city that can promote economic activity? जैसे हमारे सिटीज के अंदर जो है लेस देन 5%, कई शहरों में लेस देन 2% जो लैंड यूज है वो कमर्शियल एक्टिविटीज के लिए है. So cities are for commerce and culture. So we are not using cities for commerce and culture. हम बहुत सारी स्टेट लैंड अगर देखें तो अभी भी अनऑक्यूपाइड पड़ी हुई है. इस्लामाबाद की आप मिसाल ले लें, आपको ब्लू एरिया के अंदर खाली प्लाट नजर आते हैं. So if you look around, so much land is vacant. So this is the time, how can we generate economic activity with optimal land use, जो सरकारी भी लैंड है, और overall reconfigure our land use. तो मैं समझता हूँ सबसे बड़ा टूल जो है वो reconfiguring land use है in our cities.
जी. Actually, Naveed, this is a very interesting and important point, especially जब हम एक novel किस्म का crisis face कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि as a pandemic, हम land use को temporarily भी reconfigure कर सकते हैं. And वो हम अगर कर सकते थे, it would have, I think, helped spread out economic activity and reduce the level of crowdedness in certain markets. तो economy भी आपकी थोड़ी सी चलती रहती. Daily commerce would not be affected, and do you think that could have worked if we had done temporary reconfiguration?
Yes, I think अभी पूरी दुनिया में जो cities हैं, they are responding to this COVID-19 crisis through this temporary readjustments. You can say that this is for this time period during COVID-19. जैसे हम अभी एक RDA के साथ, तारिक साहब के साथ मिलके हम काम कर रहे थे, what we are trying to do कि राजा बाजार के एरिया में how can we close some streets and roads for cars, and we can make that space available to small businesses, vendors, as well as people can maintain safe social distancing, physical distancing during shopping. And लेकिन अभी क्या होता है, जो congested markets होती हैं और cars और other जो हमारी auto जो vehicles हैं, they occupy that space. इसी तरह जो सबसे बड़ी example है इसकी reconfigure करने की, वो restaurants हैं. So आपको पता है रेस्टोरेंट्स जो हैं वो कई दफ़ा मैं लोगों को शायद अंदाज़ा नहीं होता कि रेस्टोरेंट्स जॉब कितनी क्रिएट करते हैं. तो यहाँ सुपर में एक रेस्टोरेंट है, तो वहाँ अक्सर हम सारे इस्लामाबाद वाले लोग जाते हैं उधर. तो मैंने किसी दिन किसी से पूछा कि आपके ख्याल में कितने एम्प्लॉई होंगे उस रेस्टोरेंट में, से स्मॉल रेस्टोरेंट. तो वो मुझे कहते हैं 10 से 12. तो आई टोल्ड हिम नो, 150 पीपल वर्क फॉर दैट स्मॉल रेस्टोरेंट. देयर आर हार्डली 7 to 8 tables or 10 tables in that restaurant. So 2 शिफ्ट्स में आप इमेजिन करें कितने लोग जॉब्स पे लगे हुए हैं. So the temporary arrangement is, जो अभी COVID-19 की जो रिसर्च आ रही है उसमें आप इंडोर जब होते हैं तो ज्यादा वल्नरेबल हैं. When you are outdoor, आपने डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन की हुई है, you can sit on the table, you can go with your family, और आप उसको मेंटेन करते हुए you can use that business. तो इसी तरह अगर आप यहाँ से गिने तो और भी there are so many such businesses जहाँ पर हमें लैंड यूज, जो हमने पार्किंग को एलोकेट किया हुआ है वो हमें बिजनेसेस पे एलोकेट करना चाहिए, और हमें जो है वो इसके लिए टेम्परेरी लैंड यूजेस जो हैं. इसी तरह स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स हैं, बहुत सारे बिजनेसेस, लोगों के बड़े बिजनेसेस बंद हो गए हुए हैं. यू ओपन अप अ स्पेस. ये तारिक साहब व्हेन ही वाज नाजिम कोटा, ही ऑफ्टन टेल्स अस दैट स्टोरी कि इन्होंने एक बड़ा एरिया था, तहसीलदार का घर था, उसको इन्होंने रेडी वालों के लिए इस्तेमाल किया. सो इस तरह के घर शर ढूंढे सरकारी लोगों के और उनके अंदर रेडियां शेडियां लगाएं. सो दिस इज द टाइम टू डू सच थिंग्स, जिसके अंदर जो है वो आप लोगों को अपॉर्चुनिटी दें टू कम फॉरवर्ड, दे डू बिजनेस एंड दे मेंटेन फिजिकल डिस्टेंस. तो टेम्परेरी, आई थिंक दैट्स एन एक्सीलेंट आइडिया कि आप कुछ टाइम के लिए ये अलाउ करें और इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी जो है उसको जनरेट करें.
बिल्कुल, I really agree with this. Naveed, the other thing that I was wondering is that इकोनॉमिक जो पॉलिसीज बनती हैं और फिर जो ऑन ग्राउंड हमारी सिटी रन करती है, उसमें एक बहुत फ्रॉम द पॉलिसी टू द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन देयर इज अ ह्यूज गैप. तो आई वाज वंडरिंग अगर आप एक कमेंट इस पे कर सकते हैं दैट how can we reduce the gap of economic policy and then actually city में जो implementation है policy की.
इसमें मैं 2 बातें आपको बताऊंगा. एक मैं पहले लाइटर नोट पे आपको बताता हूँ, देन आई विल कम टू जो है वो दूसरे उसके ऊपर. एक सोशल वर्कर हैं, आई फॉलो हिज मॉडल, आई एडवोकेट हिज मॉडल. कभी आप लोग ब्राउज कीजिएगा, दैट इज एन एक्सीलेंट मॉडल ऑफ कम्युनिटी गवर्नमेंट एंड पीपल्स पार्टिसिपेशन. चंगा पानी. तो चंगा पानी के जो फाउंडर है नज़ीर अहमद भट्टू, हिज डिसाइपल ऑफ जो है वो डॉक्टर अख्तर हमीद खान साहब के जो है वो शागिर्द रहे. वो एक बात कहते होते हैं, मैंने अपने आर्टिकल में भी एक दफ़ा कोट की, वो कहते हैं पाकिस्तान का मसला ये है कि पाकिस्तान की जो पॉलिसीज़ होती हैं वो सोची और लिखी जाती हैं इंग्लिश में, वो कन्वे होती हैं उर्दू में और इम्प्लीमेंट होती हैं पंजाबी, सिंधी और पश्तो में. So it tells you a lot about this gap actually. When we are making policies, people like us sitting in Marriott and Serenas and PCs, so things are very different. And when you convey it to provincial headquarters, then things change. उसके बाद जैसे सारिया कह रही गुजरांवाला में कब लॉकडाउन होना चाहिए, क्या नहीं होना चाहिए, तो ये वो डिसीजंस आते हैं जब हमारे यहाँ बहुत गैप आ जाता है. यू नोटिस्ड के जो लोग जो हैं, एक तो ये दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट, हमारे अंदर जो कोहेरेंस है वो नहीं है टीयर्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट के अंदर. एंड द रीजन इज कि हमारे यहाँ बहुत बड़ा गैप है. द वे थिंग्स हैपन इन इस्लामाबाद, आप किसी मीटिंग में चला जाएं, द काइंड ऑफ डिस्कशंस हैपन इन इस्लामाबाद विल बी वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम रहीम यार खान या सखर या जो है वो गुजरांवाला के किसी पब्लिक सेक्टर में या आरडीए के दफ्तर में जो डिस्कशंस हो रही होंगी. तो देयर इज अ डिस्कनेक्ट. वन. सेकंड जो है वो ओवर द टाइम हमने सिटीज और लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स को एम्पावर नहीं किया और ऑटोनॉमी नहीं दी. उस ऑटोनॉमी ना देने के दो बड़े ऐसे जो है वो आई थिंक जो रिसर्च से भी निकलते हैं जो इश्यूज हैं वो दोज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. फर्स्ट ये है कैपेसिटी का. अगर आप देखें तो इस वक्त फेडरल और प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स का जो साइज है वो दैट इज ह्यूज एक्चुअली. फेडरल गवर्नमेंट के अंदर आप पेंशन्स का बिल देखें, आप सैलरीज का बिल देखें, तो फेडरल गवर्नमेंट जो है उस पॉलिसी मेकिंग है, दे शुडंट गो इनटू दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ अ रोल कि दे शुड हायर सो मेनी पीपल. प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स के अंदर डिपार्टमेंट चला जाएं तो वहाँ अच्छा. उसके बाद आप सिटी में चले जाएं, आप डिप्टी कमिश्नर के ऑफिस चले जाएं, आप एसी के पास चले जाएं, उनके पास क्या है? सो दे डोंट हैव कैपेसिटी एक्चुअली. रियली शॉर्टेज ऑफ कैपेसिटी है. जितना एरिया सपोज मैं दैट्स अ डिफरेंट मॉडल के वी शुड गो फॉर अ मेरियल मॉडल, एसी मॉडल, व्हाटएवर. लेकिन जितना एरिया अभी एक एसी मैनेज कर रहा होता है, शायद इतने 5 जो है वो डिफरेंट होने चाहिए और उनके अंदर क्या स्टाफ और कैपेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए. So our cities are unable to fund capacity actually, to finance capacity that is needed to make informed decisions. चाहे वो लैंड जोनिंग के हैं, चाहे डेटा कलेक्शन के हैं, डेटा मैनेजमेंट के हैं. तो बड़ा इशू जो आता है वो स्टेट की कैपेसिटी नहीं है. लोकल लेवल पे टोटली कोलैप्स्ड है सिस्टम हमारा, एंड वी आर नॉट रियलाइजिंग इट कि वी नीड टू बिल्ड कैपेसिटी एट द लोकल लेवल. सेकंड, जो हमने बहुत ज्यादा सेंट्रलाइजेशन की हुई है, तो जो लोकल गवर्नमेंट का जो रिलेशनशिप विद लोकल पीपल है वो डिस्कनेक्ट है. वहां पे भी देयर इज अ लैक ऑफ ट्रस्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज पीपल नो दैट डिसीजंस आर नॉट कमिंग फ्रॉम देम. डिसीजंस आर कमिंग फ्रॉम इस्लामाबाद, लाहौर और कराची और वहां से आ रहे हैं. तो आप हाउसिंग के आप लैंड यूज रेगुलेशंस देखें, अभी भी प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स उस पर ऑक्यूपाई करती हैं. आपने वाटर चार्जेस चेंज करने हो चीफ मिनिस्टर तक उसके जो है ना वो अप्रूवल जाती हैं. सेक्रेटरी हाउसिंग जो है वो फाइनल अप्रूवल देता है लैंड यूज के ऊपर जो है, अदर देन एलडीए जिसका अपना लॉ है. तो व्हाट हैज हैपेंड ओवर द टाइम, देयर इज अ डिस्क. जब हम कहते हैं ना कि ये जो लोग लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की बात नहीं सुन रहे, तो देयर इज अ रियल इशू. दैट रियल इशू इज द ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट बिटवीन लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड पीपल. तो वो चूंकि एंगेज ही कभी नहीं होते. सेकंड ये है कि हमारे यहाँ जो प्लानिंग है और मैनेजमेंट है वो पार्टिसिपेटरी नहीं है. हम रूटीन के मामलात में जब हम लैंड जोन चेंज कर रहे हैं, जब हम मेट्रो बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं या जंगला बस बनाने की, हाउ मच डू वी एंगेज विद पीपल, हाउ मच डू वी टॉक टू पीपल. तो हमें ये जब क्राइसिस आया तो हमें लोगों से बोलना पड़ रहा है. हमारा लोगों से इंटरेक्शन अब हो रहा है स्टेट मशीनरी का, अदरवाइज इट्स अ वेरी रेयर इंटरेक्शन. आपका बहुत कम इंटरेक्शन होता है. तीसरी चीज इसी से मिली जुली जो चीज है कैपेसिटी की, पूरी दुनिया में जो सिटीज होते हैं उनकी जो लोकल अथॉरिटीज हैं उनके पास म्यूनिसिपल अपनी पुलिस होती है एनफोर्समेंट के लिए. अब हमारे यहाँ जो लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, दे हैव टू रिलाई विद द सेंट्रल पुलिस, प्रोविंशियल पुलिस. तो आपने फाइन्स करने हैं, पार्किंग करनी है, जुर्माने करने हैं, ट्रैफिक के मामलात हैं. व्हाई डू यू नीड अ पुलिस सिस्टम जो इतना सेंट्रल हो? यू नीड अ लोकल म्यूनिसिपल फोर्स जहाँ से आपको ये कैपेसिटी चाहिए कि लोगों को एंगेज भी करें, लोगों को पुलिसिंग भी करें. सो दीज आर आई थिंक इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ policy disconnect and empowerment of cities.
That's great. I agree with you, Naveen, on this. मैं बस एक last point पे I think you've addressed this somewhat, but my personal interest is in fiscal autonomy in our cities, and I think आप ये इस पे आप hint कर रहे हैं. And earlier in our first round, सारिया ने भी इसी बात पे थोड़ा सा वो touch point किया है that we need the decisions to be taken in the context that they're being applied. So that all hints towards fiscal autonomy for cities. हम अपने cities को किस तरह इकोनॉमिकली इंडिपेंडेंट और resilient बना सकते हैं. And Naveed, as an urban economist, how what would you like to say on this? Is Pakistan able to achieve fiscal autonomy in the near future for its cities, or what do you think?
मुझे तो नहीं लग रहा कि नियर फ्यूचर में ये होने वाला है, क्योंकि हमारे जो जनरली जो पॉलिटिकल एलीट होती है या ब्यूरोक्रेटिक एलीट है, समटाइम्स वहाँ से भी रेजिस्टेंस आती है. एंड पर्टिकुलरली वी थिंक कि हम पॉलिसी मेकिंग सूबे से बैठ के चलाएं हर चीज़ को. और जो अगर आप फिस्कल ऑटोनॉमी की बात करें तो 18th अमेंडमेंट और 7th NFC के बाद जो आइडिया था वो प्रोविंसेस जो हैं they'll empower cities actually. So devolution का असल पर्पस वो था, लेकिन that has not happened actually. So we've seen कि we've regressed over the time. और वो रिग्रेशन जो आई है वो उसके अपनी कॉस्ट है कि हमारे अभी लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की कैपेसिटी वीक हो गई हुई है, कोऑर्डिनेशन के इश्यूज भी आते हैं. और जो असल में सिटीज़ की अपनी जो रेवेन्यू जनरेशन की कैपेबिलिटी है, जब तक वो नहीं आती है ना, तो सिटीज़ की फिस्कल ऑटोनॉमी क्वेश्चनेबल रहती है. नो, स्टिल दे हैव टू गेट फंडिंग फ्रॉम द वर्टिकल फंडिंग, बट दे नीड टू जनरेट रेवेन्यू. पूरी दुनिया में सिटीज़ का जो रेवेन्यू जनरेशन होती है वो प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स इज़ वन ऑफ द मेन जो है, जो यहाँ पर सारे प्रोविंसेस के पास है एक्साइज एंड टैक्सेशन, तो बाद में वो ट्रांसफ़र करते हैं. लेकिन सिटीज़ जो हैं प्रॉपर्टी उनका इंटरेस्ट होता है, जब सिटीज को इंटरेस्ट होता है कि उनके यहाँ प्रॉपर्टी की वैल्यू बढ़े सो दैट दे कैन गेट मोर टैक्सेस, सो दे वर्क विद पीपल टू इंक्रीज वैल्यू ऑफ देयर प्रॉपर्टी. तो यहाँ पर सिटीज का कोई इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है उसमें. तो प्रॉपर्टी टैक्सेस इज द वन थिंग. सेकंड जो है वो लैंड यूज है. So I often give this example that people talk about China's so many other models development के, लेकिन one model that is very prominent in China, that is their land use. लैंड जो है वो लोकल उनकी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के पास थी. दे यूज लैंड टू अट्रैक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट, टू क्रिएट जॉब्स. तो उनके केपीआई का हिस्सा था. जब आपके केपीआई का हिस्सा होगा, आप इनकम टैक्स से भी आप शेयर लेंगे, आप सारी जॉब्स भी क्रिएट करेंगे. राइट नाउ हमारी जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होती है लोकल लेवल पे, कोई उनके केपीआई का हिस्सा नहीं है कि हाउ मेनी जॉब्स हैव यू क्रिएटेड, हाउ मेनी बिजनेसेस यू हैव. So if they have some incentive doing these things, they'll go for this. So right now जो state machinery होती है, they use them for their own benefit. कि आप जाएं encroachment हटा दें, आप वहाँ सड़क बननी है वहाँ पर जाके पैरा दें. So policies are coming, projects. और second जो important बात ये है कि जब स्कीम सारी आपकी जो है वो सेंट्रली तैयार हो रही हो तो people are not involved in that. तो उससे हमने वाटर की स्कीम्स में भी देखा हुआ है, हमने बसेस की स्कीम में देखा है. we've seen in so many other development projects where I think non-local autonomy होने से, fiscal autonomy होने से our service delivery is marginalized in cities.
Okay. Thank you, Naveed, for a very informative round two, actually. And I want to now again, because of our time, want to move to round three, which many apne, because personally being an urban designer and a planner, for me, this is a round that I was waiting for. Round three is basically focusing on the impact of COVID-19 on city planning and design. What are the challenges and opportunities that our cities have faced? And for this round, I'm so happy that Farhan Anwar could join us from Karachi, because I think Karachi in every which way takes the lead in teaching us urban lessons and in also showing us how deep we are in terms of trouble when it comes to urban planning and design. So Farhan, thank you for being so patient all this time and waiting for this round. I'd like to ask my first question to you, which is from a planning point of view, what do you see as the main challenges that are facing currently the city of Karachi with regard to COVID-19?
सर आपको अनम्यूट करना होगा.
Let me just.
Thank
Farhan,
you. हाँ वालेकुम सलाम. हाँ सॉरी एक्चुअली वो मैं म्यूट हो गया था. थैंक यू सारा. एंड आई थिंक lot of very relevant topics have been raised, discussions have been done by the previous speakers. मैं उसमें ये ऐड करूँगा, what I would like to add कि this pandemic COVID-19 in no uncertain way has brought out some very critical fault lines and fissures within our urban planning and governance construct that have existed for a long period of time, and we have kept brushing them under the carpet. एक चीज जो बहुत important है, and it has not just been coming to the surface here in Pakistan or in Karachi, but in many parts of the world, is that this pandemic has impacted those communities, those people more that are the marginalized communities within an urban landscape, those that are on the fringes. हमारे केस में, when we talk about the Pakistani cities and Karachi in particular, we have about 50% of the population that does not even have basic citizenship rights. They don't have land tenure. They live in unauthorized kachi abadis. So when we are talking about that kind of population base and that kind of dynamics that defines the contours of a city, so it's very difficult when you have a vast number of the people within your city that don't have access to affordable housing, that don't have access to critical civic and social services. तो उनसे आप expect करें कि they respond to this kind of a crisis, or that you on a short notice can come up with those kind of response mechanisms within that particular kind of land construct, वो बहुत मुश्किल होता है. So I think एक चीज जो we need to focus on now, and of course in the post-pandemic phase, is to remove these profiles of urban inequity that are defining our cities all over Pakistan. Planning, जैसे नवीद ने बहुत डिटेल में बहुत अच्छा कहा कि planning is for the few rather than for the majority in our cities. कुछ लोगों के लिए planning होती है, majority उससे बाहर होती है. ना तो ये है कि उनकी needs को identify किया जाता है, ना उनको engage किया जाता है किसी participatory manner में in planning में. So then you have a city where you have these landmines placed within the city. कोई भी crisis हो, not just a pandemic, even a minor crisis then brings out these kind of fissures within the city. For example, in the case of Karachi a few years back, we had a heat wave. About 1,500 people died. अब वो ज़्यादातर लोग जो मरे उसमें 1,500 में से, it was not really because of the heat wave, but because they were vulnerable. वो सड़कों पे थे, उनके पास proper housing नहीं थी, उनके पास electricity का access नहीं था, बीमार थे already, sick थे. So I think that is one aspect of our urban planning that we need to look into on a very urgent basis, how we are going to make our cities equitable, how we can ensure social justice within the city. And that social justice gets reflected with access of the communities to the critical civic social services within the cities and the facilities that define a city. अच्छा, दूसरी चीज जिस पे नवेद ने बहुत डिटेल में किया है, तो मैं इसको बहुत ज्यादा नहीं डिस्कस करूंगा, and that relates with the governance structure. Pakistan में unfortunately right from the very first day, we have not been able to define and implement the proper distribution of powers and functions between the various tiers of governance. जब हम different tiers of governance की बात करते हैं, हमारे केस में जैसे फेडरल है, प्रोविंशियल है और फिर लोकल है, तो उसमें जो एक प्रिंसिपल अप्लाई करता है वो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सब्सिडियरिटी होता है कि वो पावर और वो फंक्शन जो जिस जगह पे और जिस टीयर पे सबसे अच्छा इंप्लीमेंट हो सकता है उसको वहाँ प्लेस किया जाता है. हमारे केस में ये नहीं हुआ है. इवन 18th अमेंडमेंट आया तो उसका भी रिजल्ट हमारे सबके सामने है कि वी आर स्टिल अनसर्टन वेयर वी स्टैंड. पावर्स प्रोविंस का है वो लोकल पे ट्रांसफर नहीं हुए. सो वी हैव अनदर प्रॉब्लम दैट एग्जिस्ट. अच्छा, इस सारे प्रोसेस में जो सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्टेड है वो लोकल गवर्नेंस है. लोकल गवर्नेंस का टीयर है जो एक तवील अरसे तक तो उसके पास कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रिकग्निशन भी नहीं था. सो अब हुआ अब, और लेकिन जब आप प्लानिंग की बात करते हैं, प्लानिंग इज प्लेस्ड विद इन लोकल गवर्नेंस. दुनिया में आप जब भी बात करें अर्बन प्लानिंग की, प्लानिंग इज प्लेस्ड विद इन द लोकल गवर्नेंस टीयर. तो जब आपने उसके ऊपर इन्वेस्ट ही नहीं किया, उसके ऊपर आपने कंटिन्यूटी नहीं की, उसके ऊपर वेरियस एक्सपेरिमेंटेशंस होते रहे, सो अब जब एक काम आता है कि आप शहर के इश्यूज को रिजॉल्व करें ऑन अ डे टू डे बेसिस और इन द केस ऑफ अ क्राइसिस ऑफ दिस मैग्नीट्यूड, तो वो सारा जो हमारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, जो सारा गवर्नेंस का कंस्ट्रक्ट है, वो इस काबिल नहीं होता. इट्स नॉट देयर, इट डजंट हैव दैट कैपेसिटी, neither does it have the financial capacity, neither does it have the human resource capacity, or it is empowered in terms of the powers and functions that it needs to respond to a crisis. अगर आप दुनिया भर में देखें तो मेयर का ऑफिस है जो इन सारे इश्यूज को देख रहा है और उसके पास वो एम्पावरमेंट है कि वो ये देख सके. हमारे केस में एट डिफरेंट लेवल्स हैं, सारे शहरों में एक नहीं है, बट एट कराची में तो बहुत ही बुरा हाल है कि हमारे लोकल गवर्नेंस का सिस्टम एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता है. अभी कुछ अर्सा पहले मैंने एक रिसर्च के सिलसिले में केएमसी की वेबसाइट पे जाने की कोशिश की तो वो वेबसाइट ही फंक्शनल नहीं थी, लेट अलोन आप सोचें कि वो इदारा फंक्शनल होगा. सो ये है कि एक तो ये बड़ा क्रिटिकल एस्पेक्ट है. आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी नीड टू ऑल थिंक अबाउट. अच्छा, quickly I'll just go through a few more points, and that is we are not documented. The city is not documented. The country is not properly documented. For example, इस वक्त एक majority, एक vast जो हमारा economic zone है, जो economic activity का जो एक profile है, वो informal sector में. Informal sector is not documented. अब इस वक्त पावर्टी को ही आइडेंटिफाई करने में या लोगों के ऊपर कितना इम्पैक्ट हुआ है इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंक्रीज पावर्टी, वो हम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. हम एक्सेस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं लोगों को जिन पर इस वक्त उसकी नीड है, बिकॉज हमारे पास वो इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर, जो वो लोग जो इस किस्म की एक्टिविटीज में इन्वॉल्व हैं, जो नीचे लेवल पे आते हैं सोशो इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रेटा के, वो डॉक्यूमेंटेड ही नहीं है. तो सिटीज नॉट जस्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ मैपिंग ऑफ फैसिलिटीज एंड एवरीथिंग, हमारे पास लोग भी डॉक्यूमेंटेड नहीं है, हमारे पास इकोनॉमी डॉक्यूमेंटेड नहीं है, हमारे पास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डॉक्यूमेंटेड नहीं है. That's another area that we need to look into. Then densification. For example, there is a debate ongoing and there is no evidence as such to negate either point of views ke whether densification has led to increased spread or not. For example, Hong Kong is one of the success story jahan pe densification is scale ki hai ki shayad hi duniya mein kahin ho. So abhi iske upar thodi jury is out. But still, I think I feel that particularly in the case of Karachi, I'm not that knowledgeable about other cities in Pakistan. But जो densification को, vertical growth को हमने बहुत बुरी तरह handle किया है. There is no planning. We have come up with policies and acts and and these kind of legislations which have led to haphazard, unplanned vertical growth without any environmental and social safeguards put in place. So ये हमें देखना है in the future, because vertical growth is something which is being recommended and which is being promoted all over the world in terms of a smart form of growth. क्योंकि अब हम स्प्रॉलिंग सिटीज को डिस्करेज कर रहे हैं और वर्टिकल और कॉम्पैक्ट सिटीज की तरफ जा रहे हैं. तो वी नीड टू रियली थिंक अबाउट इट कि हम अपनी वर्टिकल ग्रोथ को किस तरह मैनेज करेंगे, बिकॉज दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट. ग्रोइंग हाउसिंग और कमर्शियल की नीड्स हैं हमारी. सो एंड देन लास्टली आई वुड लाइक टू से क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट का रिस्पॉन्स हमारे पास है ही नहीं. हमारे पास ना वो हेल्थ का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, ना हमारे पास उससे रिलेटेड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर्स नहीं है. सो ये सारी चीजें अब कौन करेगा? गवर्नमेंट के लेवल पे है ही नहीं. अब वो PIA का जहाज जब गिरा तो चीपा और ईदी वाले ही थे, गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कोई प्रेजेंस ही नहीं थी. सो इस किस्म के जब क्राइसिस आप इस स्केल का आएगा, हम तो माइनर क्राइसिस भी हमें प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, बट इस किस्म के क्राइसिस के लिए वो क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट रिस्पॉन्स सिस्टम शहरों में हमारे कहाँ है? नोबडी हैज टॉक्ड अबाउट इट.
Absolutely. Farhan, thank you. That's so informative, and I agree with all your points, especially the point on documentation. The fact that देखिए हमारे city officials को भी जो issue आ रहा है, हमें हर तरफ से जो ये management और governance crisis आई है, वो इसी, I think the crux of the matter is poor documentation, and in many cases the absolute lack of documentation. We have such a grave data shortage in our cities that as practitioners ourselves, I face this in my line of work, and I think we all face it in our line of work. So I wanted to ask you this. You have been leading some excellent research coming out of Karachi, and recently we have 2 publications on transit oriented development nikli, and then integrated planning pe nikli aapki, for making Karachi more livable wali jo aapki publication hai. Now, these publications have such a wealth of information inside them, but how effectively, in your opinion, does this research find an ear in the government? And do we see them being effectively implemented or paid attention to? And if the answer is no, then how do you see us changing this?
आई थिंक इस पे नवीद ने भी अभी बात की थी, जो पॉपअप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इस पर दुनिया में हर जगह आ रहा है इन द वेक ऑफ दिस पेंडेमिक. जो इसमें सारा मेन प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमारे एटीट्यूड्स की है, हमारी प्रायोरिटीज़ की है. हमारी जो प्लानिंग होती है वो अमीरों के लिए होती है, वो गरीबों के लिए नहीं होती. कराची का अगर केस ले लें तो यहाँ पे फ्लाईओवर्स बने चले जा रहे हैं क्योंकि वो प्राइवेट ऑटोमोबाइल को सपोर्ट होती है, उससे पैदल चलने वाले को, साइकिल चलाने वाले को, या ये है कि जो बस पे पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट वाले की और मुश्किलें क्रिएट होती हैं. दुनिया भर में हम इस पर जा रहे हैं वॉकेबिलिटी को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए, जो मैंने अपनी पब्लिकेशंस में बात की है. वॉकेबिलिटी है, पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट का यूज़ है, साइकिलिंग है. हमारे यहाँ अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो एक परसेप्शन है कि ये सारी गरीबों वाली एक्टिविटीज़, और इसलिए उसमें अंदर कोई हमने अपने नॉन मोटराइज ट्रांसपोर्ट का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उसके ऊपर कभी भी इन्वेस्ट नहीं किया है. और वो अगेन जैसे मैंने कहा एक एटीट्यूड का इशू है कि हम इस चीज़ को इतना इम्पोर्टेंटली देख नहीं रहे हैं. और इस वक्त फॉर एग्जांपल सो प्लानिंग प्रायोरिटीज को चेंज होना है। कोई पैसे की भी कमी नहीं है, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स भी आ जाएगी, पैसे देने वाले भी आ जाएंगे, सब कुछ हो जाएगा, अभी भी हम कर सकते हैं। लेकिन ये है कि वो फॉर दैट प्लानिंग प्रायोरिटीज एंड नीड टू चेंज। और जैसे मैंने कहा इस वक्त फॉर एग्जांपल दुनिया भर में जो है वो एक फोकस आ रहा है कि जो एक हम स्मार्ट और सस्टेनेबल सिटी की बात करते थे, जिसमें हम नॉन मोटराइज ट्रांसपोर्ट को प्रमोट करते हैं, किस तरह उसको एक्सेलरेट कर दिया जाए बिकॉज ऑफ दिस पेंडेमिक। ज़्यादा साइकिलिंग हम तरफ जाएं, ज़्यादा वॉकेबिलिटी की तरफ जाएं, ज़्यादा ओपन स्पेसेस की तरफ जाएं, because that is something which is more environment friendly and health friendly and much more safer in terms of the spread of this such diseases के impact को रोकने के लिए. So I think critical is planning और priority जो है उसकी हमारी जो डायरेक्शन है उसको चेंज होना है। रोल मॉडल्स मौजूद हैं, केस स्टडीज मौजूद हैं दुनिया भर में, हम जैसे मुल्कों में ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स और प्रोसेसेस और प्लान्स इम्प्लीमेंट हो चुके हैं। You don't have to reinvent anything, सिर्फ उसको अडेप्ट करना है हमारे एनवायरनमेंट में।
Okay. And lastly, Farhan, in terms of Karachi में and the use of open spaces, उसपे because Karachi is arguably our densest city, and people are, especially our marginalized groups, are already living in very tight spaces, and उनको further कहा जा रहा है कि वो एहतियात करें और वो अपने घरों में बंद रहें। And this is not a luxury that हम सब afford कर सकते हैं। हम जिन लोगों के बड़े बड़े घर हैं जिनमें 5-6 कमरे हैं, that's easy, but for a family जो कि 10 लोग एक ही कमरे में रह रहे हैं, they need, वो उनको बाहर जाने की जगह की जरूरत है। तो आप कराची में in terms of open spaces और उनकी use during this pandemic आपने क्या observe किया है? Are people coming out and using the spaces, and if not, therein lies a lesson for us to increase that?
Yeah, I think people are coming out, people are cycling more, people are walking more, and they are doing all that on streets. Look, this is a subject that I teach also. It's very close to my heart also, sustainable urban mobility and public space design. And these are two topics that I teach. And एक इसके अंदर सारा जो issue है वो ये है कि it's not just कि हम करना नहीं चाहते, but थोड़ा vision की भी कमी है। जैसे for example, even in a city like Karachi, which is the largest city in the world and one of the largest city in the world, and of course in Pakistan, उसमें भी आप हायर लेवल्स पे भी चले जाएं तो हमारे यहाँ अभी भी जो एक परसेप्शन पब्लिक स्पेस का है पार्क्स एंड प्लेग्राउंड, जबकि अब when we are talking about public spaces, streets के ऊपर इस पर कितना मेजर इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रहा है। तो reclaim streets as public spaces जो ओरिजिनली हुआ करते थे, हमारे यहाँ हुआ करते थे। Similarly, for example, markets as public spaces, squares as public spaces, waterfront है। So we need to sort of enhance our vision in terms of how can we define public spaces. And when we bring into this, understanding and bring within this vision the streets be public spaces, so then we start planning for that. Then we start creating spaces where people can walk. जैसे इस वक्त मैंने कहा कि लोग सड़कों पे आ रहे हैं, और जैसे नवीद ने भी कहा कि पॉपअप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप हो रहा है कि मार्केट स्पेसेस अगर इस वक्त थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम है तो हम इस तरह की वेंडर एक्टिविटी सड़कों पे ले आए, ठीक है ना। सो ये बहुत से केसेस में बहुत से शहरों में हो रहा है। सो एक बहुत अच्छा शिफ्ट इस वक्त डेवलप हो रहा है टू reclaim streets as public spaces. So I think this is something that we need to look into. We need to increase our horizon in terms of understanding what we can define as a public space and then planning accordingly. और कराची के केस में yes, already जो existing public spaces हैं वो encroach हो रही हैं, खत्म हो रही हैं, parks हैं, चाहे playgrounds हैं, streets में accessibility नहीं है. So these are the things that we need to look into. We need to look into our urban planning priorities, needs in a very different way. And I think if one outcome comes out of this pandemic, that we need to look into our cities in a very different way. We need to look into their economies in a very different way. We need to look into their planning considerations in a very different way. We need to look into sustainable growth in a very different way. So that would be, I think, a great achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. Farhan, thank you so much for your input. I want to actually, we're getting some very good questions from the audience. And I just want to steer the last part of this round to back to Tariq Saab in Rawalpindi, who wanted to actually share some of the plans that Rawalpindi is implementing, some infrastructural plans that Rawalpindi is implementing, and especially abhi aapke comments ke baad, given that certain priority areas need to change for cities. उसके हवाले से मैं तारिक साहब आपसे दो प्लान्स के बारे में थोड़ा सा एलैबोरेट करना पूछूंगी, विच इज ऑन योर ट्रैफिक डिकंजेशन प्लान इन कराची एंड ऑल्सो आपका जो एक सरफेस वाटर का जो प्लान है, बिकॉज दिस इम्प्रूव्स एक्सेस टू सर्विसेज फॉर marginalized communities. Tarik साहब, if you could share your comments on that.
जी, बेसिकली मैं जरा दो चीजों पे बात करूंगा. पहले जो माय एक्सपीरियंस इन व्हाट आई वाज प्लानिंग कपल ऑफ मंथ्स अगो, इसमें जो कोविड-19 का इम्पैक्ट है जो अर्बन सोसाइटीज में या अर्बन डेवलपमेंट्स में होता है कि इज प्रोवाइडिंग फूड सिक्योरिटी. देखिए, हाउ डज अब लॉकडाउन हो गया, आप खाना कैसे खाएंगे, कैसे पहुंचाएंगे उनको, लोगों, गरीब लोगों का तो मसला यही रहता है कि आप खाने लेने बाहर जाएं, मार्केट्स बंद है, कैसे होता है. सो व्हाट आई डिड वाज कि हमने एक पायलट प्रोजेक्ट पिंडी में शुरू किया, अभी हम उसको एक्सपैंड कर रहे हैं, वो है किचन गार्डनिंग. अब हमने थोड़ी सी रिसर्च की. हमारा एक बड़ा कंजेस्टेड एरिया है जहाँ पे 5 मरले से बहुत छोटे घरों में 2, 3, 4 मरले में घर हैं लोगों के. तो वहाँ पे हमने उसको कहते हैं कमेटी चौक, बड़ा कंजेस्टेड एरिया है. तो वहाँ से हमने एक 50 फैमिली सिलेक्ट की. उनको हमने स्टैंड्स बनाए जिसके अंदर यू कैन ग्रो अबाउट 17 डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ वेजिटेबल्स, लाइक बेसिक वेजिटेबल्स जो आपको जैसे क्यूकम्बर्स हैं, हरी मिर्चें हैं, तो इस तरह की चीजें जो आप ग्रो कर सकते हैं उन स्टैंड्स के अंदर. तो हमने रिसर्च की. वी गॉट दोस गुड सीडलिंग्स फ्रॉम NARC एंड सीड कॉर्पोरेशन. तो वो हमने डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की उनको 50. एंड विद दिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू अभी हम मॉनिटर भी उनको कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम दिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि द सिटीजन्स should be able to take care of their at least their basic food security. जैसे पेरिशेबल आइटम्स हैं, लॉकडाउन हो गया, आप नहीं ले सकते, सब्जी किधर से लेंगे, कहाँ आप उसको रखेंगे अगर मिल भी जाए. और इसी तरह जो ड्राई गुड्स हैं जिसको हम कहते हैं जैसे दालें, इस तरह की चीजें, वो तो आप स्टोर कर सकते हैं बट सब्जियां नहीं कर सकते. सो ये हमने एक पायलट प्रोजेक्ट शुरू किया है विद दिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि जी इनकरेज द सिटीजन्स के जी वो थोड़ा सा इस चीज को करें, वेजिटेबल्स ग्रो करें. तो वी आर एक्सपैंडिंग इनटू 100 मोर फैमिलीज. हमें 100 फैमिलीज और की रिक्वेस्ट आई है. सो विच मीन्स के 150 फैमिलीज. सो एक फैमिली इज लाइक एवरेज इज 5 members in a family, and at times there are 10 members in a family also. So they have to look after their food. इसी तरह ये हमने रिसेंटली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया है. नवीद इज अवेयर ऑफ इट, टर्किश एम्बेसडर आए थे, सो वी डिड दिस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. उसके बाद वी आर डूइंग दिस पोल्ट्री डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. इससे पहले वी आर ट्रेनिंग द जनरल, जो हमने घर सिलेक्ट किए, वी सिलेक्टेड 1000 हाउसेस इन कंजेस्टेड एरिया जिसमें हम उनको केजेस बड़े बना के देंगे क्योंकि स्पेस अगेन है नहीं वहाँ पे, जिसमें दे कैन हैव देसी अंडे वो देंगी, पोल्ट्री होगी उनके पास. सो स्पेशली फॉर द विमेन फोक आई फील किचन गार्डनिंग एंड दिस पोल्ट्री डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में दे कैन सॉर्ट ऑफ लेट्स से 5 उनके पास अगर मुर्गी हैं तो 3 भी अगर अंडे दे रही हैं तो चलो 2 फैमिली ने खा लिए कोई कुछ बना के, एंड देन एक वो सेव करते जाएं. सो एंड ऑफ द मंथ they have some desi andas saved which they can sell out in the market and get this extra income generation. तो ये चीजें we are doing in the city. जैसे नवीद ने पहले कहा, I agree with them. The policies are made somewhere else and the public को कोई भी incorporate नहीं कर रहा. My background has been local governments. I started my political career from the local governments. I was in the district council and I spent about good 32 years of my life in the local governments. So uske baad I feel it's very important that you engage the public, you engage the residents. Uske baad we are doing a third project we are doing is ke water, jaise aapne kaha, it's a very important commodity. People don't realize how important water is. We are doing a pilot project of rain water harvesting. नाम से बहुत बड़ा लगता है कि जी जैसे वो पता नहीं हार्वेस्टिंग होगी तो क्या मशीनें आ जाएंगी. इट इज जस्ट वेरी सिंपल कि आपकी छत पे थोड़ी सी स्लोप होती है, पाइप के अंदर पानी आता है, वो आपके अंडरग्राउंड टैंक में चला जाता है, उसको आप प्योरीफाई करें, उसको ट्रीट कर सकते हैं, यू कैन वाटर योर प्लांट्स. तो उसके लिए हमने 3 जगह सिलेक्ट की हैं. एक मेट्रो हमारे पास है वहाँ के 2 स्टेशंस हैं, लियाकत बाग में हम अंडरग्राउंड टैंक्स बनाएंगे। देन अदर वन इज मेरी अपनी 5 स्टोरी बिल्डिंग है हमारी वासा और आरडीए की, वहाँ पे हम करेंगे। अगर जैसे ड्राइवर्स गाड़ियाँ धो रहे होते हैं, कोई पानी ज़ाया कर रहा होता है। फिर एक जो हमने सिलेक्ट की है वो मस्जिद है, बिकॉज फ्रॉम द उलमा इन द रिलीजियस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू आई जस्ट वांट टू गिव देम इनसाइट कि आप पानी बचाएं, और रेन वाटर इज अ वेरी गुड प्योर वाटर जिसको आप स्टोर करके वुजू कर सकते हैं। सो मेरा कहने का मकसद ये है टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स दैट आई हैव एंगेज द कम्युनिटी, और कुछ कम्युनिटी को आप एंगेज करेंगे तो देन ऑल दीज प्रोजेक्ट्स विल कम अप। तो ये बेसिकली हम पिंडी में एज ऑल्दो इट्स नॉट माय मैंडेट बट आई स्टिल ट्रेड इनटू डिफरेंट टेरिटरीज। तो फोर्थली व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज जो हमारे बड़े मेगा प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जिसका मैंने जिक्र करने लगा हूँ, is a ring road which is coming up, which we inshallah going to be starting this month, end of this year, जिससे it's a 4 kilometer road, long road, which is going to have the decongestion program of the city. Like हमारा जो traffic count है उसमें 50,000 vehicles will go off the road and go onto the ring road. But the beautiful part is again engaging the community. We are doing urban planning around that ring road. We would like the cities to, or the city to grow on that side. Rawalpindi, Islamabad to grow on that side. Usme what we are doing is that I am constantly engaging the local traders, the local business community in the Rawalpindi area, and getting their views and feedback that what would attract them that they would move to that area of the ring road. So city decongest, so they could move their businesses there. So we have a whole urban plan over there, like the health city, satellite towns, and the industrial area, and truck stands, and sabzi mandi, and all that. So then again, the hallmark and the bottom line is that you have to take the local, engage the local community and ask them. जैसे आप अगर कोई फ्लाईओवर प्लान करते हैं, आप कोई चीज़ इस तरह की जैसे रिंग रोड प्लान करते हैं, तो द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट इज कि वो तो बन जाती हैं, बट अगर कोई वहाँ उनको यूज नहीं करेगा, कोई वहाँ आके बसेगा नहीं, अपनी बिजनेस नहीं चलाएगा, तो दोज रिंग रोड्स आर यूजलेस। उनका कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, सिर्फ ट्रैफिक चली जाएगी दूसरी साइड पे, जो एक अर्बन प्लानिंग है वो कभी भी नहीं हो सकेगी। So basically, this is our plan. We have held some road shows also in Rawalpindi and invited all sorts of business communities. So we hope that this will be a new addition for Rawalpindi, because Rawalpindi is a very congested city. आप कितना plan करेंगे? Open spaces हम नवीद इफ्तार के साथ plan कर रहे हैं, urban planning हम थोड़ी सी कर रहे हैं, सराफा बाजार की, बावड़ा बाजार की, buildings को थोड़ा सा clean up कर रहे हैं, paint कर रहे हैं, open spaces बड़ी मुश्किल से कुछ थोड़े से छोटे मोटे ढूंढे यहाँ पे public बैठ सकती है, sidewalks वहाँ पे बनाएंगे which they can walk and sort of do cycling also. So we are doing all these things, and again in the end I would say my wrap up comments would be, you see, you have to have the local community engaged, even if unfortunately the local governments are not in place. Local governments would have been the ideal place to plan all these things. So local governments jab tak nahi hai, I would recommend that you engage the local communities, get their viewpoint, and then move forward from there. इसी तरह we have Vasa, everybody wants water. Water की scarcity भी बहुत ज़्यादा है, there is lack of water, and we are moving towards surface water now, which is like 2 good dams are coming up, the Docha Dam and Chahan Dam. आज मैं visit करने भी गया हुआ था. Chahan Dam is ready, so we just have to lay our infrastructure and start supplying water to the residents of Rawalpindi. So I think, and then again, as I was saying, the hallmark and the highlight of all this COVID-19 is that it's not going to go away. We think it's going to go away next month, it's going to go away a month after that. But in my opinion, it's here to stay. So we have to do urban planning, we have to do community planning according to this. How do we do it? As I've mentioned earlier, that we have to take these communities on board and then use our local governments and our own sort of improvisations and things like that, so that we work around. If COVID-19 goes away, maybe there's a mutation, something else comes in. So we have got to have communities and cities planned in such a way that if there is a lockdown, you can have a gated community, you can share food with each other, you can grow your own food, you can have your own poultry, you can sort of save water. And sort of, if there's a lockdown for a month, 2 months, you can use your own local stuff. So these are basically my insight and my input in what we are doing in Rawalpindi.
Thank you, Tariq Saab. It's very heartening to hear that Rawalpindi, from an official platform, is engaging communities and working towards what I would call an urban resilience vision and possibilities. We're at 6:20, and I would want to just thank all the panelists for what has been a very broad but such an informative conversation. And I hope it has been as enlightening for me as for the audience as it has been for me. I want to actually just to spend the last 10 minutes, if we can, on hearing in from Dr. Numan Ahmed, who has joined us from the University of Karachi. Dr. Numan, मैं आपको unmute करके, Dr. Numan wants to share some observations. If I could please request you, if you could remain as brief if you can possibly, and so that we can take some questions that the audience has shared from the panelists at the end of it. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Numan. आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
जी, वालेकुम अस्सलाम. Thank you very much. It was an extremely enlightening session, and my compliments to Tariq Saab and my best wishes to both Tariq Saab and Naveed Iftikhar Saab, that may Allah give you all the courage and capacity to implement the wonderful plans that you have been talking about. Rawalpindi is such a beautiful city, and the most beautiful thing in that city are its people. And let's hope that the people get a better deal as a consequence of this opportunity that you have been talking about. I have a few observations regarding the discussion that was taking place. And since we have a mix of both practitioners and a few academics, I think it will be useful if we take a few conceptual issues. For the past many years, we have been discussing urbanization with reference to very old and anachronistic type of definitions. We consider urbanization as confined to spaces that are denoted in cities, towns, and the usual type of hierarchy that we have. Very recently, the Federal Ministry of Climate Change, the UN Habitat, prepared a report which was called as the State of Pakistani Cities Report 2018. And in that, there was this very interesting issue raised that the spill of urbanization is actually going beyond the confines of city boundaries. And if you go anywhere in Pakistan, whether Karachi or whether in Lahore, you'll find that the cities are spilling out. While there is a official administrative definition assigned to the urban areas, we find that urbanization is now taking place in a very ineffective but sprawling fashion. And it's in fact eating up resources that probably should be conserved for other purposes. So that is one observation, that maybe it will be useful that we position ourselves to come up with a more inclusive and practical definition of urbanization, so that we are able to structure our ideas in a more appropriate way. The second observation is that the information flow that we have related to our issues, that's, I think, very incomplete. All of us are aware that in 2017, we had a population census, and the partial results of the population census were revealed. But so far, we have not received the district census reports. If some of us may remember that we had in the 1998 census, which provided us with elaborate official information about the state of the various districts we have, including the factors of urbanization and other issues. For official planning and also for resource allocation, these type of basic prerequisites need to be fulfilled without delay. My fourth observation is related to the points that were raised by a learned panelist about the issues related to local governments. It is very ironic to note that while we all as a society keep yearning about democracy, the most essential level of democracy which needs to be practiced and which needs to be taken into account is the local government, because that's where We have the nurseries for leadership, and that's where the service delivery to the ordinary citizens is being taken care of. But over the period of time, this has been routinely neglected. And another ironic aspect in this reference is that when we had the military governments, they probably assigned greater emphasis on local government than compared to the democratically elected governments. And this state of affairs is still found, more so in places like Karachi, which basically represents a very skewed situation. We consider Karachi as a city, but if you just look at the statistics of Karachi, I think the reality will unveil very quickly. Karachi accounts for 1/3 of the total Sindh's population. And obviously its representation in the decision making is less than maybe 20%. So obviously the allocation of resources, the opportunities and all that comes along with that, that's very, very skewed. And I'm sure that similar situations would also exist in other parts of the country. My fifth point is that urban planning, which is one of the foremost activities that any conscious citizen would basically strive for, is now reduced to projects. We do find that there are planning assignments undertaken by different local agencies and other range of agencies. But the output is simply in the form of a few documents. And those documents only serve academic purposes, and they are not provided the right type of legal cover that would make them binding upon all the actors in the administration as well as other domains of performance. My sixth point is that COVID-19 has raised many, many issues. And one of the issues is the significance of digital infrastructure. The overall expectation of employers and employees are changing. While many of us are working from home, it is also a kind of a usual experience that we all get, that a capacity to access infrastructure, digital infrastructure, internet services and all, that becomes very, very faulty. And there are, in fact, specific times during the day when the performance of the digital infrastructure falls down, even in some of the most, I would say, affluent areas in Karachi. My seventh point is that our planning and our choices has to be responsive to our demography. A sizable portion of our population, especially urban population, are young people and women. But we find that in majority of the decisions that are taken, either in reference to infrastructural choices or other attempts to development, these two very important segments of the society are ignored. Be it the issue of mobility, entertainment, educational access, and several other options. This very vital segment remains, in fact, underserviced, and the COVID-19 situation has unveiled many, many more realities. The domestic workers who go out to work in different houses as a routine, they are routinely inconvenienced due to lack of transportation choices and the rising expectations of their employers. And there have been incidences of domestic violence which go completely unreported in the national media and even to some extent in the social media. However, through our own research, we have been able to identify many, many significant events that have caused violence against women, especially the domestic workers. Finally, I would conclude by saying that the policies that have been formulated by the recent government, the recent federal government, is going to create greater pressures on the urban locations, because there have been certain types of incentives accorded to the construction sector. But one of the fundamental prerequisites to facilitate construction of livable accommodation, that is an appropriate land supply, that has been grossly ignored. And we find land supply completely intransparent, non-transparent in almost all the urban locations that we come across, be it Karachi or Lahore and elsewhere in Pakistan. And unless we are not able to regulate land supply and make it transparent, I think any kind of sustainable urbanization will remain a very, very distant possibility. Thank you very much for your patience listening.
Thank you so much for those detailed observations and taking the time to share those with us, Dr. Aman. We are at time actually now, but I wanted to just request all our participants to please stay tuned for another 10 to 15 minutes as I go through our question list and try to have one panelist each address the questions. I actually wanted to start by directing a certain a question to Farhan, in terms of, there's a question coming out from Hermaine, who is asking, in terms of sustainable urban mobility, how can local authorities engage with the public for the proliferation of the rhetoric regarding urban mobility, specifically in cities like Karachi? Farhan, could you take that for us?
Yeah, I think one point I will pick from Noman, and that is that, right now our planning within the cities is just based on projects. And that is something that is sort of a, problem with me, even with us at a national level also, that we think in terms of projects. Whereas now we are in the age of strategic planning, where each aspect of planning, each sector of planning connects with the other. I've read the publication that recently of mine came out, and that you mentioned also, Sarah, that brings out this important factor that when we are talking about mobility planning, we don't even use the term mobility, we talk about transportation. We are just talking about a project. There is no connectivity created with how, for example, it's going to lead to improved livability within the city, how it's going to, for example, lead to improved housing and improved educational facilities and access to employment and, housing and all that. So how it will lead to, improving public spaces within the city. So those kind of connection of the dots is missing. So one, I think at a larger level, at a macro level, that strategic thinking has to come. At the level of what Hermaine has asked, I think we need, in a city like, for example, Karachi, which is so complicated, where planning has happened, on an ad hoc basis for a long period of time now. We need to start with pilots. We need to start with projects, where we try to find out what the problems are, what the constraints are, what are the opportunities. We pick up neighborhoods, for example. This is something that I've been propagating for some time, that for a smart and sustainable city, now the core of a smart city is a sustainable neighborhood. So maybe we can look at these issues at a neighborhood level. We do pilots at the neighborhood level, engage communities there, see how, for example, walkability score of a neighborhood can be increased, how neighborhoods can become more secure, how more social capital can be built by creating spaces where people can gather. So I think, because there's less time here now, so I would just say, okay, do pilots at the neighborhood level. Start at the neighborhood level, maybe have some projects happening, for example, in the case in Karachi, in the old city, which are already happening. But try to work with pilots, try to find out where we stand, what the problems are, how we can make a difference at the micro level, how it can extend to a macro level, and one step at a time.
Okay, thank you, Farhan. And I want to now actually, Saria, are you still with us? Aapko meri awaaz aa rahi hai? Saria, aap hain abhi tak hamare saath? I think Saria is no longer on with us. I'm just going through the questions. That there's this one question that I mean, I find is a very important question about verticality and how we need to go vertical in cities, but we also, at the same time, I think Farhan had addressed this earlier again about how we can envision different uses for space and how
Sorry, if you can just give me 1 minute, just 1 minute. That right now the debate around vertical growth that is happening is how we can make it more, environment friendly, blend vernacular architecture with modern architecture. For example, go for housing or business facilities which are vertical, which are on a vertical growth pattern in terms of less use of light, high ceiling, where we used to have those kind of things. For example, in Karachi, we used to have those balconies and jharokas. Bring them back. Create those kind of interesting blends and combinations between vernacular and modern architecture, and create a very different kind of a typology and a vocabulary for vertical growth.
Right. No, I think that's again very important, and it shows from a city planning and management perspective, how much collaboration is needed from architects, from planners, from designers, from officials, and that's the only way we can reimagine our cities and think about a better quality of life, given that pandemics will happen again, and all kinds of crises can touch our cities. I was wanting to take this comment from Asif Khan, who I think is no longer on the call with us. And there were some more questions, but I think we have touched most of the questions. Naveed, would you like to say anything towards the end?
No, I think
Closing.
this is wonderful, and we all have learned a lot. Tariq Saab ne, Farhan ne, Farhan Saab ne, Saria, they all explained very well some of the challenges that cities are facing and the way authorities are responding. And I would like to thank Dr. Numayan Ahmad for sharing his views. हम सारे जो अर्बनिस्ट हैं और अर्बन स्टडीज का जिनको शौक है, हम सारे डॉक्टर नुमान और आरिफ हसन साहब को जो है वो पढ़ते पढ़ते we learned a lot urban studies and planning. So I think he has raised very good points, and I would suggest to Sara and Urban Innovation के ये जो डॉक्टर नुमान ने point raise किए हैं, I think there should be a follow-up blog based on these points, and we should have more focused discussions on some of the points that Dr. Numan has highlighted. So from my side, I think this is excellent. एंड स्पेशली जैसे फरहान ने जिक्र किया है कि जब हम प्लानिंग की बात करते हैं तो की टेक वे इज कि प्लानिंग शुड नॉट बी जस्ट फॉर द वन सेगमेंट ऑफ द सोसाइटी एंड दैट द सेगमेंट इज यूजुअली elite and the segment that has cars actually. So we often plan only for cars and mobility. So what sort of debates are needed in Pakistan when we talk about density? What do we mean density in case of Pakistan? So these are some of the debates that we do need to have. And the good to see कि there are local authorities जैसे RDA में जो है वो तारिक साहब ने बताया कि he is doing a few things to engage people. So I think this is the key learning from this seminar. We need to work collectively to improve our cities. And right now, I think there are many challenges. And the lessons that we've learned from this COVID-19, that we need to empower, we need to build capacity of our cities, and city authorities actually need to work together with the people and communities. So that bond we need to strengthen, that has over the time, sort of weakened over the time. So that's all from my side.
Absolutely. I just also wanted to add to all the participants and panelists that, please do forward your comments and further follow up about this webinar to urbinno@gmail.com, which is urbinno@gmail.com. And we can then, obviously, we will compile it and put it up on our website, and we can have a personal email follow-up with the participants. I unfortunately am not being able to unmute Asif Khan, who wants to add something, and I don't know why the mic is not being unmuted. But I want to wrap up at this. And Asif, if I could ask you to email me your point about the citizen data network, and then I would be happy to share it with everybody. I again want to thank all the panelists for joining us and for all your very considered and respected views. And I'm very excited about the projects that Tariq Saab has shared with us. And Farhan, thank you for giving us the important perspective from Karachi. Thank you to all participants. And you'll be hearing a follow-up from Urban Innovation in your email accounts. Thank you.
Thank you.